Okay, so I'm sure you know why you're here today, correct? I'm interviewing you for the DevOps role.
DevOps? Really? I thought this was a developer position.
DevOps, potato, doesn't matter what it is. I'm here to interview you. Okay, I'm basically the hiring manager, so you must worship me.
Huh?
You must worship me because I summoned you in here today to interview for my position.
Okay.
So let's get this thing started. First and
Sure.
foremost, one thing I just need you to be aware of is in no way, shape, or form did I actually sit there and read your resume, because that would mean I'd actually have to do some work. So would you kindly tell me about yourself?
Well, certainly. Where do you want me to start?
Start wherever. I would assume you read a little bit about the company, correct?
No, I did not, because, you're an unknown company, and I don't even know what you guys even do, because despite reading the website, it told me nothing.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I kind of half-assed the website because that was basically not my intention. Now, since you didn't want to tell me about yourself, I'm looking at your LinkedIn profile. So the LinkedIn will tell me the answer. What did you actually learn as a coding coach?
Oh, yes. So, as a code coach, I essentially tell people how much they sucked. No, actually, I did not tell them that. In all honesty, this is what I told them. This is how you do FizzBuzz. That's all I did.
FizzBiz? Would you kindly explain what FizzBiz is, since I have absolutely no understanding of modern technology. But don't worry, it's okay. I get paid a dickload of money to actually do this.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, I guess maybe I should just ignore what I shouldn't tell you what it is, because it doesn't even matter. But essentially what I did is just, honestly, I just help people out. That was my entire job as a code coach. That's it. Helping people learn how to code.
Okay. So let's see. Let's see here. It looks like currently you're enrolled in the University of Florida online school. What exactly was your reason for going back to school at this point? Because I don't hire students, right? I expect you to have literally the following on your resume. I expect you to have 10 years of experience. I expect you to basically run 2 successful Fortune 500 companies that you sold off as a startup, and that you provide equity. And I basically expect you to be a unicorn.
Oh, is that what you're looking for? Well, I do have experience, but unfortunately, none of that counts according to these metrics. So that's why I decided to be a student, because that's the only way I'm able to actually learn what the hell I'm supposed to be doing, and at the same time be able to get a bunch of internships and perform them perfectly, even though they don't even count. And then on top of that, I'm going to put in even more time.
So if I hire you, how much of a salary are you expecting?
What is your range that you're talking about, first of all?
60K.
Are you kidding me? Really? I mean, that's it?
Where do you think money comes from? You think I just sit on the toilet and poop it out like that?
Of course I do. How else did you get this position that you're then now hiring me for?
I mean, if you really want me to be honest about why I asked you your salary range, I'm going to be really honest. I have about 200K sitting right behind me, but I'm trying to figure out if you're actually worth the 200K. So that's why I said 60K.
Yeah, so 60K.
Unfortunately, I know what you're probably going to do after this if you don't get hired. You're going to go complain on LinkedIn that basically I stuck as a hiring manager. I shouldn't have my position. And I'm just like that recruiter who basically decided to voice how no one knows how to negotiate a proper salary.
No, I'm not going to do that at all. In fact, I'm completely going to take this experience and just use it to ignore all the others that are just like you. So I can do better because I know I can. This interview is over.
Okay,
Goodbye.
fine. You know what? Bye. You're not worth your 60K. Have a nice day.
Hope you get fired.
Did you pause? Oh. Okay. Welcome to Ben and Justin Cringe Corporations, or basically what I like to call really large businesses. Today, we're going to be focusing on one of the largest tech companies. For the purpose of this video, I will not name that. So we're going to call them Company Tech F. So in most recent news, Company T over here has chosen 25 local independent journalists that are going to be paid out of $5 million roughly pot to write for its newsletter site Bulletin during multi-year deals. The company told Reuters on Thursday and launched Bulletin in June as standalone newsletter subscription service with free paid articles and podcasts. It is the social media giant's attempt to compete in the booming email newsletter trend led by Substack. Had previously announced, the 40 writers on Bulletin say there will be more than 100 on the platform by fall. A spokeswoman declined to say how many subscribers Bulletin has at present. So my first question to this, and I'm sure you're wondering the same thing, is are they going to be going to the office 5 days a week? Are they going to be hybrid, or is this going to be remote? Because let's be honest with these tech companies. What was the biggest thing they said the last 2 years? Sure, we'll definitely hire you remote, only to invest in office space and commercial real estate to go hybrid. So basically they lied. They lied and got everyone, including the coaches on LinkedIn, all like, yeah, come work at this company. You'll be remote. What's your opinion on that?
Yes. As usual, especially in this industry that we call tech, disappointments are abound.
Of course, disappointments are abound because
it's sad. It really is. I mean, it should have just been like hybrid, you choose. But yeah, just call it flex.
What I will say
why not?
What I will say is this to you, especially when it comes to business tech. What do we expect when they invest, God knows, millions and millions of dollars in these large commercial buildings? You know damn well.
They expect to be filled.
Exactly. But then we also have another problem. When they hire idiots to basically overmanage people who need to feel special, because they're having problems at home, and they need to control everybody.
I know a few.
By their bloated salaries.
My best kind of people.
You mean the people who probably have abnormally small packages and need to overcompensate for it by basically trying to be a control freak?
I have no idea what you're talking about there, but all I'm going to say is we have an issue with the idea of trying to shoehorn people into offices. Of course, it all stems from the fact that without offices, the small shops downstairs don't get business, and it goes down the line. But let's be frank here. Over the last 2 years, what has happened that forces all to go remote? Let's not say it because it's sad, but because of this change, and it's so radical and so sudden. Personally, I can't see a reason why companies would not go hybrid with an option to choose.
I
Or
wonder
worst case scenario, make it 3 days a week in the office, 2 days remote. Sure, I understand it, business needs. But let's be honest, most positions have some capacity to be remote, allowed to be remote. It's already been proven that remote employees are just as good, if not better in some cases, than people in the office.
the issue is you would then, as follows, when it comes to this, you now alienate the older employees who cannot retire just yet, supposedly by say who basically grew up 5 days a week all in office. Although it's been shown now that even boomers and whatever Gen X hit their 50s, they want to be remote also.
Well, of course. Why wouldn't they want to be remote?
You would want to be remote because basically it just allows you to work more hours rather than commute 2 hours a day.
Yeah, that's correct.
And lastly, on why this policy is just is completely confusing to begin with, since it is company P, the last thing I wonder on is going forward is if the workers are going to be in a full office capacity, are they going to get more wages or are wages going to be the same?
That is an excellent question. Hopefully, wages will be in line of expectations of being in the office. Otherwise, I wouldn't say it's worth the commute. And I wouldn't blame workers for not wanting to be in the office when the wages aren't commensurate.
And this concludes our cringe of the day. Tune in weekly because tune in bi-weekly as this will start to become a little more of a series. Now, our last topic today that we're going to discuss is actual recruiter behavior that you will almost always see. So, I'm going to lead off by saying recruiting nowadays has unfortunately become very tricky and much more in the public when you have social media platforms. Back in maybe like the 2000s, I would say recruiters may have actually been able to do their jobs a little bit better without the whole over commercialization of what they do. So this is when social media was just starting out and people didn't promote what they did as much. So now over the last decade, I think what's happened with recruiters is it's become much more commercialized as to what they do. And now they've been promoting their brands on social media platforms, especially Instagram and LinkedIn. From what I've seen by just scanning LinkedIn is some recruiters do have somebody's general interest in mind. Other recruiters, whether they're an inside or an outside recruiter, seem to be at this point just looking to fill a job, or they're looking for like a certain type of candidate, but they don't actually know. So what's your opinion on this?
Yeah, so in terms of recruitment behavior, I just want to preface all of this from the fact that this all stems from back in the 1990s toward the end. that corporations decided to take hiring from a normal, ordinary, go through run of the mill to at will. And the term at will means they can hire and fire at will, which leads to slow hire, quick fire. Additionally, this all comes to the idea of recruiting for the perfect candidate, because nobody wants to waste time, nobody wants to train anybody anymore. And so based on company interests now, internal and external recruiters are looking for that candidate. So they're looking for unicorns, senior level personnel, people who can do the job. Unfortunately, there's a lot of positions that are higher level, but there are not enough people to fill, and there's a amount of people for the few lower level positions. So this competition is fierce.
And in that case, this would probably explain now why, especially when you go on LinkedIn, most of these recruiters, in my opinion, have gotten completely much more full of themselves and have got bored, and the way they post is borderline narcissism.
In a way, yes.
Because honestly, if I'm looking at, as an example, I'm going to pull a random recruiter out of, from a random recruiter out of the way and look at its content. I have no issue with recruiters making content, believe it or not, because they, but it depends on what the content is. For example, Recruiter F at this point, posting personal conversations. I don't know if they should be posting text messages on LinkedIn.
No. That should never be allowed.
Opinions, that's a little bit of a touchy area.
I say no. That shouldn't belong there either. Should be cut out.
Let's see, what else can I think of that shouldn't be on there? Recruiters putting up memes. I mean, come on.
I mean, it depends on the meme, but sure. I mean, like, what are they trying to communicate? That's my question.
I mean, that's what I wonder as a general rule. I mean, if it's not recruiters doing this, then it's hiring managers who are basically borderline narcissists, who are also doing the same thing, acting like they're God's gift to, I remember one person last year who I'll just call old lady. I don't know if she's still posting, but she would come on once a week and basically, say, this is my freebie advice I'm giving job seekers for, trying to help them. You must be the perfect candidate. I'm like, lady.
Perfect candidate. Like that really exists? Wow.
You think you're helping people. What you're really showing us is this personalized arrogance that you shouldn't be conveying to us on a public platform.
Yeah, not good. Niet so hooked.
Especially with, then my personal favorite when it comes to recruiters is how some of these personalities who call themselves career coaches are sitting there defending recruiters. The last issue I want to bring up with recruiters that they really need to get better about is, if you know you're not going to hire a candidate, why don't you just reach out to the person?
Thank you.
Instead of doing the following.
Ghosting?
You send me don't send me a generic email. Make yourself accessible so I know what you're looking for the next time around. Because honestly, the one thing I do want to say is this, and I'm to convey for this segment. The real reason that I'm resorting to making videos like this and working on a podcast is because I want more for my life. I'll just put it like that. I have something which I'm happy with, But the reason I'm doing this is more because job seeking has literally now, thanks to recruiters on LinkedIn, it's turned into basically a mental health exhaustion.
That's quite a take. And honestly, from my side, since becoming a developer, now software engineer, it's absolutely dizzying, the behavior that I witness on a daily basis, from ghosting to not realizing that I'm not the perfect candidate, sending me emails about having 20 years of experience when the technology is only 5 years old. You name it, I've seen it more or less. And I'm telling you, it's crazy. And this is one of the reasons why I decided, hey, one day I made a decision. Do not chase them. Just make yourself as attractive as possible through your own efforts and your own means. And eventually somebody's going to pick you up. And it may be through a recruiter. That's okay, because there are good recruiters out there that would do their job appropriately. And I have good contacts with some of those recruiters. But about 80% of recruiters that land in my inbox on LinkedIn or text message basically provide absolutely no value.
So they're borderline.
And they get ignored.
They're borderline incompetent.
Let's just say their sales pitch is weak to the point where I don't even respond. I don't even care if they go away. In fact, some even landed in my spam box.
The last thing I would just say about recruiters is this. This is coming from someone who is a job seeker. Recruiters, please do us a favor. Go take a customer service course or work in retail, for Christ's sake, because most of you would really then understand, as some people that I've encountered on LinkedIn who have had the retail background, they understand what the purpose of being a recruiter is. Your job as a recruiter is to serve your client, not to basically overcomplicate their life. I hope you guys learned something from this commentary. We'll definitely see you in the next one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, guys. For this week's version of Corporate Cringe, we're going to look at one of the biggest companies that you can look at out there. I'm not going to name this company. We're just going to call them Fortune 500 Bank. Okay. 2 weeks ago, Fortune 500 Bank on March 11th, the CEO of the company came out and said the following: all employees, you must return to the office. We are doing away with remote work, no hybrid. You will come back or else. Now, this is the same person who, along with most of New York's real estate developers, have built these large corporate towers and want to see a return on this investment. So, the biggest thing that has been known throughout the pandemic, this pandemic is everyone loves remote work. Everyone wants remote or hybrid. Unfortunately, once you've reached your mid to late 50s, going on 60s, and you've had certain experience in banking, you are clueless. Let me hear your side of that policy decision by Fortune 500 Bank. Go.
So about once again, we are disappointed by the flip-flop of company doing away with remote work when promised. Not even hybrid. I mean, didn't this person get the memo that, hey, business changed? Everything has changed. Remote work is now a thing. But hey, I mean, what they gotta get those bodies in the corporate office so they can make a return on the investment, right?
We're talking about literally a close to 60-year-old, and I'm not trying to be racist, white person who
Hey,
literally grew up, who literally in the early stages of his career was used to being in an office 5 days a week in literally the most expensive part of the country.
oh well,
That's what I say.
not our issue.
Because
Change
honestly,
or be changed.
because honestly, at
Or
this point,
change or get left behind.
if he has to go through the current mayor of the city, who was a former police officer, just to convince people to come back to the office because of all these smaller businesses, that they're worried about. They're not worried about the businesses. They just want
No.
to control people.
Yep, that's what it's about. Because they know that if remote work takes off and it becomes permanent, a lot of money goes down the tubes. That's what it's about.
Not our problem that commercial real estate brokers can't seem to figure out how to find something else to do with their lives.
Nope, they can't figure out what they can do to repurpose those properties. That's what it's about.
There would be a nice solution for those properties, but you and I both know that.
Oh, yes, we know what the solution could be.
I'm suggesting that they do with those nice, good-looking buildings.
Of course.
Low income, affordable housing. But we all know this is
affordable housing. Yes, that's a good question. Why can't we have affordable housing?
I know it's needed, but they don't want to do it because why I invested this much money in a commercial property to get butts in the seats.
Oh well, not our problem, is it?
Nope, not my problem because.
But it's not their fault either. I mean, they made a quote unquote sure bet, and disruption happened quicker than they realized, and there's no reversing it.
No, there's no reversing it. And in fact, one thing to have noticed is Recruiter T, somebody I follow on LinkedIn, best said it himself. I love when companies like this declare X, Y, and Z because now it means employees are going to be looking for new jobs.
That is correct.
So the recruiters are the happiest people right now.
Oh, they should be happy because I mean, it's not like they have to sit up in an office all day. They can do that from, as we were talking about, working from home, working remote, working from a cafe. They can do their jobs just as well there as they can do in an office. So they're happy.
Of course.
They get paid either way. They don't care.
Recruiters from anywhere. That's the beauty of that.
Yeah. Recruitment, tech, even call center. You can be anywhere.
Oh, of course. And call centers should not have to call center at the very minimum. I will say this for somebody who works in a call center type of position himself in the medical field.
Mm-hmm.
These jobs if you're not going to make them fully remote, make them hybrid, not 5 days.
Agreed.
I hope you guys all learned something from this version of Corporate Cringe. We'll see you at the next one.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.